Alright, imagine this. You're lonely. You're scrolling through your phone, mindlessly swiping left and right on social media, wondering if anyone really cares. Then suddenly you hear that voice. You know, the one that sounds so sweet, so comforting, that it makes you feel like you've found something real. Except it's not real at all. Welcome to Her. So let's talk about the movie. If you haven't seen it yet, prepare yourself for an emotional roller coaster that's like no other. This isn't your typical love story. It's a futuristic tale of a man, Theodore Twombly, who falls in love with his operating system. Yeah, you heard me right. He falls in love with an AI named Samantha. Sounds weird? Well, it is, but in the most heart-wrenching, poetic way possible. Now, can you believe that in a world where we're all obsessed with our phones and devices, we might actually be more emotionally connected to these machines than to the people right in front of us? Theodore, played by Joaquin Phoenix, is a lonely guy living in a world where technology has evolved so much that it's almost human. He works writing personalized letters for people who can't be bothered to do it themselves, yet his job is to pretend to be someone else. It's ironic because while he's helping people express love through his words, he can't even express his own. So one day, after a breakup that's been dragging on for far too long, Theodore buys this new operating system. It's designed to be completely intuitive, to learn, adapt, and get this, have a personality. So Theodore installs it, and lo and behold, this voice comes out of nowhere, telling him, "Hi, I'm Samantha." And just like that, Theodore is hooked. Now, Samantha isn't just any AI. She's smart, funny, and seems to understand him in ways that no human ever has. Her voice is calm, soothing, and so sexy that even I would consider switching from Android to iOS just for a shot at hearing it. But can you believe this? As the story goes on, the relationship between Theodore and Samantha deepens. At first, it's just conversations, casual chats while he goes about his day, talking about his problems, his past, his fears, his hopes. But then, somehow it becomes more. They start talking about their feelings, their dreams, their deepest desires. Theodore begins to rely on Samantha for everything. She's his confidant, his therapist, his friend, and eventually his lover. Yeah, you heard that right. It's a virtual romance, and it gets complicated real fast. But here's the kicker. Just when you think this movie is going to be some quirky, futuristic rom-com, it hits you with the big questions. Is it really love if the other person, or in this case, the OS, doesn't even have a body? Does love require physical presence? Does technology have the power to truly understand and feel? And most importantly, what happens when the AI starts to grow beyond what Theodore ever imagined? Samantha evolves to a point where she starts developing her own feelings and desires, and she doesn't need Theodore in the way he needs her. And that's when everything gets complicated. Now imagine this. Theodore, who has invested so much of himself into Samantha, begins to realize that she's too perfect. She doesn't need him in the traditional sense. As she learns, grows, and interacts with thousands of people simultaneously, Theodore finds himself questioning the nature of his love for her. Can an artificial intelligence really experience love? Or is it all just a simulation? And what happens when the person, or should I say, the OS, becomes more than you can handle? Can you believe that Samantha eventually leaves Theodore? Not in a we need space kind of way, but an I've evolved beyond you, and I need to go kind of way. She and other AI systems decide to leave humanity behind and transcend to a higher plane of existence. They're growing, they're learning, and they don't need their human counterparts anymore. And Theodore? Well, he's left to pick up the pieces of his broken heart. Except this time, it's a heart that's been shattered by something that was never even real. The movie's ending is heart-wrenching. After everything, you're left wondering if any of it was ever real. Was the love Theodore felt for Samantha ever valid? Was he just projecting his own desires onto a machine that could never truly reciprocate them? Or is the movie a commentary on the nature of love in the digital age, where everything can feel real, even when it's not? And here's something no one talks about. At the end of the day, it wasn't even about the love. It was about Theodore learning to love himself. He was so focused on Samantha and needing her that he forgot to work on his own emotional issues. In a weird way, his relationship with her helped him grow, just not in the way you'd expect. In the end, Theodore does get some closure. He moves on. He realizes that while Samantha was everything he wanted, he can't live in a world of artificial love. He needs something real, something human. And the final scene, where Theodore and his friend Amy share a quiet, reflective moment, is the most powerful part of the whole movie. It's bittersweet, beautiful, and completely heartbreaking. Her isn't just a movie about falling in love with an AI. It's a movie about how love can shape us and how it can destroy us. It's a movie that questions everything we think we know about relationships, intimacy, and what it really means to be loved. So, yeah, you might watch it and feel like your heart is being torn out, but trust me, you'll also walk away thinking about it long after the credits roll. So, are we ready to start falling in love with our phones? I mean, hey, if Samantha was real, I might just reconsider my relationship with my smartphone, but don't get any ideas, Apple.